Ciao! If you like fish and you like rice, this is your lucky day, as I will be making a seafood risotto, or risotto ai frutti di mare, as they say in Italy. I'll start by making a little stock first, and I'll show you what I do. A few ingredients to make some stock: some celery, which I've roughly chopped already, half an onion, one bay leaf, a small carrot, and I've got a piece of white fish. This is still frozen. This is sea bass, and also a small piece of salmon, which is defrosted. I've got 600 milliliters of hot boiling water, which I will be adding. I will be cooking for 2 people. It's just Mrs. Tortellino and I tonight. So that'll be 200 grams of rice. So I will be putting 3 times as much water. So put the stock on a high heat on the hob, and once it starts boiling, put the lid on, and I'll turn it down onto a simmering medium heat, maybe number 5 out of 9, for 10 to 15 minutes. I'll be using frozen fish today, shellfish. I got it out of the freezer this morning, and I put it on this strainer, and I want to get rid of all of the water. So effectively, by leaving it to defrost naturally, I've got this water now. I'll put this with the stock anyway. The reason why that is, and I don't cook it from frozen, is because I will want the fish to be fairly dry at some point, and if it's got water and that has to evaporate, it will be overcooking, and I don't want that. Pour a little olive oil, maybe a little bit more than a little, be a little bit generous. There. In a pan, I have already pre-sliced the other half of the onion very finely. That goes in. I've got 3 cloves of garlic, which I will be crushing in as well. If you do not have a garlic crusher, you can just do it by hand, as long as you do it nice and fine. I will also be adding a little chili. These are chili flakes. I have put them in this mug because Julie don't particularly like it too hot, so I can effectively measure it perfectly like this. Put the onion and the garlic on the hob on a fairly high temperature, and after a minute or so, add the fish. Ensure that the garlic doesn't get stuck to the bottom and burns, because otherwise you'll get a very bitter taste. Although it's fully drained, the fish will still be releasing some water. So what I'll do next, I'll wait until all of the water has gone, and then I will be adding some wine. See, if you look, there is some water here, and I will wait until that is totally gone.
I'm having a fish facial.
Fish facial.
Fish facial.
Okay, we are there. There is no more water, and it's beginning to get stuck to the bottom, which is a good sign. This is when we add the wine. I've got here 1/3 of a glass of wine, white wine. Turn the temperature up and allow for the alcohol to evaporate. It should take less than a minute. I will leave any salt until the end, but at this stage I will just add a little pepper. The reason why I'm not salting is because I've got some salmon in my stock, and inherently it's quite salty, so I want to make sure that I can regulate it at the end. So my stock has been boiling away, and I'm happy that it's ready. I'll go and fish, fish out the fish from the water, and I will be adding it to my other fish in there. And I'll put the lid on to keep the heat in there. Mash your fish so that it is mixed with the rest. The reason why I do this, by the way, is because frozen fish is not as tasty, clearly, as fresh fish. And by adding a little salmon and a little, in this particular case, bass, sea bass, but you can also use cod, it makes it more powerful and really enhances the flavour. I think it's a very good compromise.
agree, it tastes lovely.
Great. I'll turn it off, and I will be using the same pot from before, the same bowl from before I should say, and I will just pour it in there. Add a little olive oil. While the heat is off, also add your rice. Get hold of the little water or juice that has dripped from your fish and add it as well. Leave the fish out at this stage. Turn the temperature up, and effectively what we're doing, we are going to be browning the rice a little before we add any other ingredient. With the help of a ladle, pick up some of your broth, and initially maybe a couple, and turn the temperature down on a very low simmering point, and effectively start mixing it, and until it cooks gradually. As the rice gets creamy, add a little bit more and carry on. I'm about to add a little bit more stock, but what this effectively does, it allows the rice to absorb all of the lovely flavors from the fish and the stock. You can see when it's bubbling like this is when you can add the more stock. A little tip, do not be tempted to put all of the stock in and then on a high heat, because what that will do will just evaporate, your stock will evaporate very quickly and the rice will cook, but it won't be the same, but also you're likely to run out of stock, whereas you want your rice to absorb the stock slowly. So it's one of those dishes where you need to be patient, I'm afraid. If you want to get on with something else, but do not go too far away, you can always put the lid on, turn it down even more, and you can be away for, I don't know, 3-4 minutes at a time and then come back. And actually that will cook slightly quicker as well. By the way, do not even think about throwing away the vegetables. I'm eating them as I'm cooking. They're delicious.
How are we doing? Nearly ready?
Yeah, it's been cooking for 15 minutes. It's 2 minutes off. It's al dente. So at this point, I will be now adding my fish.
Are you sure it's only 15 minutes? It feels like an hour. I'm so hungry.
That's you. You're always hungry. And I will also be adding the tomatoes that I have chopped already. This is a handful of plum tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. It's optional. I like it, but I'm adding them at the end so that they keep their shape. You can see it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to put a little bit more of my stock. By the way, I did run out of stock, so it will be 800 milliliters because I've actually added some hot water. So in my recipe I will quote 1 liter most probably, and then you can have some left over. After I've added the tomatoes, I'll put the lid on, I'll turn the heat off, and I will leave it now to finish cooking in its own heat for the next 5 minutes. Great, so after 5 minutes I will be adding a little parsley. I've got here some frozen parsley. There is a little video I've produced a little while back on how I do my frozen parsley. I'll post it in the video and have a look if you like. Again, quantity to taste really, but it is important that you add enough.
Smells lovely.
Good. And I will be adding also a little olive oil. Obviously. And there you go. And one last mix. I know, Julie, you're hungry, but 2 more minutes. And what I'll do, I'll put the lid back on literally for 60 seconds to ensure that the olive oil and the parsley infuses the rice. While we wait, do not wash your rice before you cook it, because you want the starch from the rice to literally be in your water, and that will be lovely and creamy. So whatever you do, please do not wash the rice. I'm watching you. I'll come and get you if you do.
And was that arborio or?
This was risotto rice. I would definitely use a risotto rice, and it's much creamier and rounded, which is ideal for risotto. And I will be serving it next. As you will see, there is a little stock left underneath, which is ideal. You want it to be nice and creamy, but if you've got any stock left over, you can always add it to it and make it a little bit more liquidy. And having added the fish at the end, it retains its shape but also its taste, and also the same applies with the tomatoes. There's one portion done. And as always, we're going to be testing it next. Is that okay, Julie?
Ooh, yeah.
So I'll get a little mussel, a little prawn, and a little tomato. Well, smells very fishy, very nice. Oh God, it's absolutely divine. As I said at the beginning, if you like fish, if you like rice, you will love this. Really, really good. Don't know what else to say, Julie. No. I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to be eating it next.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't subscribed and you are enjoying my videos, by all means, please do subscribe. And that'll be great to do more in future. Bye. You got this one.
For me.